This is Weekends with Alex Witt, June 20th, 2020.
With us through this particular event. Much appreciated. Joining right now, California Congressman Ted Lieu, a Democratic member of the House Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committees. Well, we are a little bit late getting to you, my friend, because we had to get through this. What were you thinking as you watched this play out in Tulsa?
Thank you, Alex, for your question. My first thought is she was not doing anything wrong. She simply wore a shirt that said, "I can't breathe." And for that reason, they took her out of the line. You know, you hear Republicans talk about free speech all the time until they see speech they don't like. She was not disrupting anyone, and they should not have removed her.
Did you hear anything, Congressman, that made you think that the police acted in any way that was inappropriate other than removing her? And this is not this is a big other. She's being removed for trespassing, and yet she has a ticket and the like. But what I was able to hear on a positive note, at least I believe there was respect shown to this woman who was clearly protesting, and they had their masks on. Did you pick up anything that would change that interpretation?
I did not. Of course, there were also multiple TV cameras filming this incident. So that's one reason we need to have body cams on all police officers. When they know they're being filmed, you're going to tend to get better behavior.
When you consider that this president, as Derek Johnson, my previous guest, had just said, he came to Tulsa because he wanted to get to a rally where he could practice his speech someplace that was safe. How surprised are you that he chose Tulsa, given the fact that we have the Greenwood section noting 99 years going on a century later of those horrific race annihilation there? Of so many, 300 people dead, 8,000 people displaced because of the actions there. Did it have to be Tulsa?
No, and it shows that this administration still doesn't get it. For example, we saw that Vice President Mike Pence couldn't even say the words "Black Lives Matter." Now, of course, all lives matter, but the reason that we say Black Lives Matter is because the system undervalues Black lives. You've had the systematic murder of Black Americans by our government. That's why we've had millions of protesters and demonstrators. And for the vice president to not understand that, for the president to not be able to say those words, shows you where they're coming from. And you're right that this is a politically safe place for the president, but it is totally not safe for people who are participating, because many of them are not social distancing, they're not wearing masks, and they're indoors. This is going to be one big super spreading event for COVID-19. And it is really disappointing the president chose to have a rally in the middle of a pandemic.
And you know, to that point, sir, with the campaign having required everybody who attends, who goes inside that arena, some 19,000 expected inside, they have to sign disclaimers saying, if we get sick with COVID, we will not bring suit against either this president or this administration. I mean, what does it say to you that they still plow ahead in this particular time? They could have changed it to an outdoor rally. That at least would have helped by some measure, right?
Absolutely. We know that the places where there's high transmission of coronavirus are indoor places where people are talking and people are next to each other for long periods of time. That is exactly this rally. And not only do we have no social distancing, we have a lot of people who are intentionally not wearing masks. And what we're going to see from this is people getting sick and potentially dying because of this rally, and the President of the United States just doesn't care.
Yeah. Let me ask you a little bit about the John Bolton book. As you know, just an hour and change ago, the Justice Department lost its bid to try to have this book stopped in its tracks. Although I say that with air quotes simply because that book has been out there. We here at NBC News have copies of the book. There are multiple reporters that have written about the book. Excerpts have been released, but logistically speaking, it is on its way to being shipped to bookstores and up for public release and sale on Tuesday. But the fact that the federal judge declined to order this thing shut down, try to stop it in its tracks, what does that say to you, and how much have you heard about this book that you think is potentially damning in terms of what John Bolton witnessed during his time with the administration?
So two thoughts. First, the First Amendment is still alive and well. I am pleased that the judge has not restricted this book. And second, the excerpts from John Bolton's book are damning. It shows that Donald Trump puts his own interests above those of America. For him to basically plead with the Chinese president to help reelect him, That is outrageous. That is traitorous kind of behavior. And the American people have a choice this November. Do they want someone that's going to use foreign countries to assist them? Or do you want someone who's going to put America first?
So that point that you make right there, the book, Bolton is blaming Democrats for what he calls impeachment malpractice because Democrats only focused on Ukraine. Part of what he writes is, had the House not focused solely on Ukraine, then there might have been a greater chance to persuade others that high crimes and misdemeanors had been perpetrated. What do you say to that? That front I'd love you to think about. And also, had he been called up to testify and done so, might there have been a different outcome in the end?
Well, so guess what? We didn't know about that China incident, and you know who knew about it? John Bolton. And he intentionally chose not to come to the House and provide what he knew to the American people at the time. He wanted to have a book and make money off of it. That is despicable. But it doesn't mean that his book is false or not true. In fact, because the administration tried so hard to stop its publication, it tells me that they're scared of what's in this book and that it is true. Because if it's classified, then it has to be true.
And that was the argument that the DOJ was making, that because this book contained classified information, that it should be stopped in its track. And yet when you look at the president's Twitter feed, right, he said that it's just a bunch of lies. How can both be true?
They cannot, and Donald Trump is lying again. What's in this book, if their assertion is that he shouldn't publish it because it's classified, then in fact it is true. So for example, if I told you I had a classified meeting yesterday with people from Mars, that wouldn't be classified because it's not true. It will only be classified if I said something that was true and it was classified.
Representative Ted Lieu, it's good to see you as always. Thank you so much for taking the time for us here on Weekends with Alex Witt. Have a good one. Let's look at less than a mile away, everyone, from the president's rally. We're talking about the Greenwood district of Tulsa, that neighborhood that nearly 99 years ago was burned to the ground in one of the deadly